Well, firstly, to introduce myself, I'm Jasmine. I'm one of the senior career consultants here at the Learning People. And the reason we're hosting this webinar today is to talk about something that is really close to my heart. And I know something we feel really passionately about here at the Learning People, and that is for the demand for more women to be working in tech. I'm also joined by Anna Lane, who's part of our student care team. She's actually studied some qualifications with us herself as well. And we do also have Marisha. She's from our career service team. And we do have 3 students that are joining us today as well. So we've got Corrine, Caroline, and Katia, who have been lovely enough to join us today. They're going to be talking us through kind of their journey studying with us and what it's like being a female working in tech. So we'll kind of come back to everyone a little bit later on. But before we kick off properly, I'd like to talk about what it is we do here at the Learning People and why we are trusted by over 30,000 students globally. We specialise in online training, and we have done for just over 11 years now, and we're based in New Zealand, Australia and Ireland, as well as down here in Brighton, where I am today in the UK. So we're helping females all over the globe getting into the IT industry, and not only close the huge skills gap there is within IT, but also closing that gender gap as well. So we provide professional certification training across all different areas of IT. So you've got cybersecurity, cloud, even big data, just to name a few. And what's really important for us is that we're understanding why you are making this change. And I believe having professional career consultants that can fully understand your needs allows all of our students, and especially women who might be finding it a little bit daunting making this change and moving into this industry, it might be a little bit dubious, to open up a little bit more, to be honest with us. And then from there, we're able to let you know what's going to be best for you. So whether this be cloud computing or cybersecurity, for example. And my job is to firstly understand you. So me and my consultants will spend time speaking to you on a personal level before we walk you through your consultation and recommend your career pathway, where I would then hand you over to Anna Lane. She'll be supporting you through your studies, and you will then be guided into employment by Marisha and Robin from our career service. And like I said, I'll let Anna Lane and Marisha explain how they help you a little bit more later on. I myself have been at Learning People for many years now, so quite a long time, and it's safe to say the gender gap is something that is very well known in tech. It's something that, especially over the last few years, there has been a huge push to have more females working in tech. And this isn't just because they want to close that gender gap, it's also because women can bring some really great skills to the table within the IT industry. Women have really great decision-making abilities. They think with more logic, they're empathetic, they're seen as trustworthy, they're very creative. I think it's really important for us to kind of be looking at a bigger picture when considering this, moving into the industry. Because, yeah, you might not have the kind of IT techie skills yet that you'd need to work within IT, but that's something you can very easily learn with the right kind of training and right kind of qualifications. So it's about looking at those other traits that you have and those transferable skills that are really highly sought after within the industry. I mean, some of my best and most successful students have come from hospitality, healthcare, retail, and this is down to their soft skills. Traditionally, people working within IT, they are introverts, they're quite quiet, and this has resulted in a huge lack of soft skills and presentation skills as well. So someone that comes from retail and they're dealing with customers face to face every single day, they're reporting back to a manager, or someone that works as a receptionist and they're running reports and welcoming customers every single day. These are amazing transferable skills, and IT hiring managers, they really are screaming out for these kind of skills. Something that's quite great to see recently, especially with everything that's happened with COVID this past year, recruiters are actually reaching out to us and specifically asking for females to be filling these IT positions. And I know how unrepresented women are within this industry. To see these recruiters actively speaking out and asking for females, it's really fantastic to see. Currently, as it stands, only 19% of the workforce are female. which is crazy when you think about it. And there has been a huge shift within this industry. And it has made more females feel empowered to enter less traditional paths like IT. And the only way that we are going to close this gender gap is by not being scared or holding back, and training in these areas and inspiring the younger generation that this is something you can do and something you can train and excel in. But this is something I could go on about all day. So what I'm going to do, I'll pass you over to Anna Lane from Student Care, and she can talk you through a little bit more about how she supports you and also her experiences training with us.
Thank you, Jasmine. Hi guys, my name's Anna Lane. I'm on the student care team here. I'm based in Dublin. So with us, if you are signed up with us, so we will basically be guiding you throughout your studies. So we will be supporting you with your exams, with your studying. If you need any advice or anything like that, we are always there at hand to help you through and progress well throughout your studies. So it's kind of just like a first line support that we provide for you, so you'll be able to get through the exams proficiently. So with myself now, so how I got into IT was years ago. I was actually going on to do a degree in applied music. So as I played piano since I was a kid, so I was like, oh God, this might be the career for me. So I went ahead with it, and halfway through the college, I was like, oh no, is this for me? Should I have went this direction? So after that, I just took a year out to kind of decide what I wanted to do. So I ended up working in a care home with Alzheimer's and dementia patients doing music therapy, as I was going on to do music therapy as my degree at the very end of it. And working with them and working in that environment and around that kind of thing it was very hard. So I kind of knew then, it's like, I can't go forward with this. So I bit the bullet and decided to go back to college. So I ended up studying for QQI in computer systems and networks. So in England, over in England, it will be equivalent of the CompTIA A+ here in Ireland. And the day I started in the college, I was the only girl out of 30 people. So I walked into a class with 29 other fellas. They're thinking, oh my God, what am I getting myself in for? So I was determined to get past the stereotype of the male dominated industry, as I knew myself that I was very, very capable of doing exactly what the men were going to do as well. So I remember I actually wrote an assignment for women technology, very ironically back then, and I focused on a woman called Margaret Hamilton. She was a software engineer for NASA who led the team who wrote the code for all the Apollo 11 missions. So I used to think, wow, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I really like that kind of area. And I remember I never wrote code before this course. Like, this was completely alien to me at this stage. And I ended up getting a distinction in Python. So if you think you won't be able to do the code, and trust me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So then when I finished college, then I secured a job at a local security company. So I was doing IT support for various construction sites, troubleshooting IP issues, and in-house IT support. So I really enjoyed the work. So then I decided to go for the CCNA. So I signed up with a college here in Ireland to do the CCNA. So throughout that, I realised that IT is my forte, and I knew, right, this is definitely the right decision. So throughout my duration with the security company, just for example, I was asked to kit out the company with the VoIP systems in-house. With the help of the head of the technical department. And then I was also tasked alongside a contracted site engineer or software engineer to set up and test a new CRM system in-house. So I was basically teaching all my colleagues how to use this system, since I was working closely alongside the software engineer. So I was kind of figuring out what would be of benefit to the company on the system and what was rendered useless. So my old boss then ended up opening up another company too. So he asked me to set the whole company or the whole IT systems up there. So I was being trained up as a system administrator before COVID hit. So unfortunately, when COVID hit, I lost my job. So I was unemployed, and I ended up moving out of home, and everything else had to happen. So I put my CCNA on hold at the time, and just to keep my mind fresh and busy through the long months through lockdown, I took up the CompTIA A+, just to kind of keep me ticking over, so I wasn't going to go crazy. And now, thankfully, since everything has opened up again, I've actually secured this job in student care. So I'm helping students throughout their studies and actually been able to guide them in the right direction for their careers in IT. And it honestly was the best decision I've made in my life so far. with this. So I hope you can see from my journey that you don't need to be sitting in uni for a 4-year course when you can get the exact same education while working and improving your skills as a woman in a very male dominated sector of careers. So yeah, that's my story.
Thank you so much, Anna. No, it's great to hear about your story, and I think it's great having someone supporting our students who's actually experienced it themselves. They've worked in the industry, done the qualification, so it's fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I'll pass you over to Marisha as well. So she is a part of our career service team, which is a huge part of what we do here. So yeah, I'll pass over to you, Marisha.
Thanks, Jazz. Thanks, Anna-Lane. Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Marisha. I work on the career services team at Learning People. I've been here for 3 years and I've got 12 years experience as a recruiter and also as a recruitment trainer, training recruiters how to recruit. So over a year ago, we launched career services with the aim of giving our students the tools and the confidence to approach the job market and take control of their careers. And it's broken down into 3 phases. It's designed to apply to all of our students, whether you are a first jobber, whether you're a career changer, a professional looking to upskill. And our students are already learning the skills that are in demand from employers, which is brilliant. But how do we build the confidence to go out into the marketplace and engage with employers? How do we get the confidence to make those first steps? So phase 1 is all about laying down those foundations in order to become a credible candidate in the marketplace. How to write your CV using all of the necessary keywords and the transferable skills that you've got, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and how to start researching the tech industry and identifying companies that you'd actually like to work for. So at this point, then you'll be having a one-to-one consultation with a career services consultant because you're all in different situations with different goals. And then we'll make a plan and move you on to phase 2, which is all about networking. Are you doing everything you can to be noticed as a candidate? We really encourage you to get out there and build connections with industry professionals and grow your network in IT. And if you can prove your value to those contacts, they'll introduce you to their contacts. They might offer you advice and even act as references to job opportunities that aren't being advertised. And that's how we help you grow and own your own credibility and make good connections. So as soon as you start having these conversations with IT professionals in the industry, we'll start moving you on to phase 3, which is focused on applying for jobs, working with recruiters and interviewing. So at the moment, I'm currently helping a lovely lady prepare for an interview next week for an IT analyst position within a business that she's currently working in. But due to her CompTIA certifications, she's got the opportunity to transition into a role in tech and within the business. And another student of mine who's just completed her Pen Test Plus, she's joined a 2-month program for one of the big 4, and she'll be securing a cyber role at the end of it. So yeah, but finally, one of the things that we started up during lockdown, and because we're constantly trying to better support our students as well, is interactive workshops. And we cover a range of different topics for the job seeker, which gives our students the opportunity to ask lots of questions and to hear what other fellow students are experiencing right now in the industry. So that's us in a nutshell, and I hope that we can work with some of you soon.
Thanks, Marisha. I think the thing that I really love about our career service team is how personalised it is as well. So it's all about kind of your network, your connections, you working for a company that you want to be working for. And I think that's so important when it comes to employment, is that you are going to be happy. And I think that's one kind of main focus that we do have with our career service, definitely. I'm very keen to also speak with our students that we have here today. I know, yeah, thank you for joining us today. So I have a few questions for you guys, and I'll start with you, Caroline. So tell us a little bit about your career journey to date.
Yeah, so I'm actually self-employed at the moment, and I've been doing some technical work on a self-employed basis for quite a few years, but realised that things were changing a bit around me and I need to make sure that my skills were kept current. So I decided to have a look and decide whether to do more website work. And then actually my daughter was doing a cyber centurion thing at school, which was all to do with cyber security. And I hadn't really known much about it. As you'll probably gather, I'm slightly of the older cohort. So that wasn't anything that I'd come across at school, and it was all new to me. So I had a look into what she was doing and thought that looked quite interesting. So I started to actually look at the cyber side of things. And so but that was my journey into taking that decision. And obviously then I did have a look around at the providers. You might want me to come on to that or leave that till later, but you know, I didn't have any prior knowledge of cybersecurity, none at all. So I've done it all through, you know, the Learning People platform, and I'm now CompTIA Plus, Network Plus, and Security Plus
That's
qualified.
amazing.
And I'm working on whether, well, I'm either going to do the pen test or the CEH next.
Brilliant. And that's great that your daughter was the one that kind of opened your eyes up to it and kind of inspired you to have a little look into it.
Yeah.
But you're thanking her for that now, or you will be.
I will be when I've got a job.
And what about you, Corinne? Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? I know you're joining us from Australia, aren't you, today?
It's actually late. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting for my phone's gonna die otherwise. Well, sorry for that. So I was in business and marketing for 15 years, and so back in France and also in Australia. So I've done pretty much 10 years in France and also, well, 9 in France and also 6 in Australia. Sorry, a bit gonna be. Thank you. The savior. So that's so I came from a marketing and business background, and to be honest, even when before I left France, I was starting to think, marketing, do I really want to do that? I was in consumer goods mostly, so I didn't feel like I was making a big change in the world. And then I came to Australia, found another a great marketing job, was a brand manager for 6 years for kitchen appliances. And I did have a lot of fun in my job because it was really creative. But then, you know, I had the kids and I was thinking about, you know, changing careers because I was a bit, I don't know, I felt like I did everything in marketing. It's a bit probably presumptuous, I don't know. I felt like it wasn't that exciting anymore. Yeah, maybe if I was working in like, I don't know, environment or charity, or I don't know, maybe it would have been different, but you know, selling ovens wasn't the best anymore. So I looked for different careers, and I did, you know, create a brand that I sold on eBay. I wrote a book. I did business coaching for nearly 2 years. And I thought, you know, I really want to go back, you know, to the corporate world, and but I didn't really want to go back in marketing. So I look into my, you know, different career I could do and what were my soft skills and my technical skills, and I've so decided on a career site, and it was for Learning People. And so at that stage I wasn't sure where to go. And I give them a call regarding more project management because I'm very organized, and I thought that would be right in my alley. And I talked to the consultant, and he said, "Oh, did you think about cybersecurity?" And I was like, I don't know. Tell me about it, you know. And after a very long conversation, explaining, you know, why, you know, it could be good, and you know, the market as well, which was, you know, the job market being very much in demand of cybersecurity people. Sorry, I'm charging that. Is pretty much convincing me. Sorry, he convinced me that it was a good deal, because you know, it gave me the opportunity to find a job. When in marketing it's actually pretty busy. You know, there's a lot of people in marketing. There's a lot of people that come from other areas that feel like they can do a good job in marketing, even though they may not have the actual skills to do it. It's a kind of a job that has so much in it that other departments don't get, that at the end you get a lot of people that either they don't come from marketing, or they. Anyway, at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I wanted some technical skills, especially for that reason. So I would be the person to go to for that job, because, you know, they couldn't find, they probably won't find somebody else unless he's got the technical skills as well. And since I had all those transferable skills, you know, I didn't work for 15 years for nothing. I thought it would be a good compromise between my past experience and what the future holds. And since, to be honest, since I've been studying cybersecurity, I heard so many people have been hacked. And there was so many, especially since COVID, so many people, like even like especially in Australia as well, so many government, big companies. It is a job that will be even more in demand in the future, especially with AI and everything's becoming robotized and digital. So I thought, you know what, that's a job that definitely have a future. So why not doing it? You know, if I just have the technical skills so I can learn them. And, you know, if you set up your mind for something, you can do it for sure.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I think what you were saying a minute ago as well about feeling like you'd kind of done everything you needed to do within marketing. I mean, that's really common for our students to come to us and say, I feel like I've hit a bit of a ceiling. I just want to change. So that's quite a common thing for people when they are looking into a change. That makes perfect sense. And you're right, you're going into something that is going to be a huge demand for it. It's only going to get bigger and better moving forward as well. So yeah, that sounds great. And what about you, Katia, as well? Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your background and why you kind of came into IT?
Yeah, so when I started, I'd just finished sixth form. I was, for kind of medical reasons, I had to cut down to 2 A levels. And I was at a stage where I was like, okay, even with a medical note, I can't get into a uni I'd want to go to. So I took a year out, and I'd kind of hit like a brick wall at the beginning of a year out. It's honestly, because you're in kind of a rut, you don't know what to do with yourself. And I started looking into things. I first looked into banking apprenticeships. And as I looked into it closer, I was like, I really don't want to do this, because it's all statistics and it just kind of becomes gambling, and it wasn't really my sort of thing. And then I looked into more of the kind of coding and cyber area, and it was something that really interested me. I found Learning People and I called them up, and after basically the first conversation I had, I was sort of hooked. And I started doing my CompTIA. I found I didn't really have any like IT knowledge before, and it's really nice and easy to pick up. And so I worked through those and until I got to my Security Plus. And then about a year ago, I started applying for jobs. I basically applied to anything that came up, sort of thing, rapid. And it was actually someone that reached out to me on LinkedIn, and they offered me a job that wasn't technically advertised. And I started working for this small company, and I absolutely love it. So one thing I will say is when I first joined, so I am the only girl there.
Wow.
It's only a small company, but it basically meant when I got people phoning up, they would think I'm the secretary or the receptionist, because they were so shocked at the idea. Yeah, but it was the best feeling when they were like, oh, can I speak to technical support? And then I'd say, oh, can I connect up to your machine? And I would basically just sort it for them, never put them through, and then they'd be like, oh, good technical support. It's annoying to begin with, but it's so satisfying when you go back and you're like, that's right, a girl can do it, sort of thing. But I'm currently working towards my CEH as well now, because I really want to go into more of the kind of ethical hacking side of things, especially with, so recently there's been 2 major hacks of SolarWinds, which is a company that uses to monitor people's software, and also I think it's called Kosher, that had a massive hack as well, and then basically everyone in it got malware basically, and it was ridiculous. And so the people I work for, they were saying how IT companies that were using Kosher, they basically had to stop picking up the phones and say, I'm sorry, you're going to have to find another IT company, because they had so many requests, they just had to say no. So yeah, but
You hear about it every single day though, don't you? Different companies getting hacked, and it's just crazy. So it's nice to know that you're kind of working towards being able to stop that from happening.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited for the time where I'll be able to say, I know how that happened and how I can stop it from happening in the future. Yeah, that's definitely something I look forward to doing.
Right. And was there anything that kind of specifically, because I know you said when you spoke to one of our consultants, you were hooked straight away. I mean, was there anything that specifically stood out about us that made you choose us to study with us?
Well, I think, to be 100% honest, it was one of the first pages I found, and I was like, okay, I'll put my email address in and my number. Didn't kind of expect them, and then I got a call almost straight away, and it was, the person on the other end was so kind of considerate, and they explained everything so nicely to me, and they said how this is what we can do for you, and they basically kind of opened doors I didn't know I even wanted to go into, sort of thing. And I remember when I got off the phone, I kept talking to my dad about it for ages, explaining all of this stuff because I was really excited for it.
That's great. And I think it shows, I mean, you all come from such different backgrounds, and there's all so many different reasons why you want to get into it. And that was obviously something that was really understood when you were looking at doing it, which is fantastic. What about you, Caroline? Was there anything that stood out for you when you were looking into who to study with? Or
Yeah, the thing that appealed to me was the ability to be able to email or phone to get some subject help, but I can't quite remember the times that it's available from and to, because I only remember when I need it, but I think it's like till 8 o'clock in the evening or something. So if you are a bit stuck on something, you've actually, it's not saying, oh, you've got to contact between 9 and 5, because that doesn't suit a lot of people who are studying as we are. We can't fit around those kind of schedules really. So I was and I have used that support mainly actually in the end by email, because the emails has come back very quickly. So if I've got stuck on something, I can actually send off an email and go and do something else or study something else, and sort of within a few hours, generally speaking, there will be somebody coming back and explaining it to me. So it was that sort of academic support probably for me that was an appealing factor. But since then, the thing that I've enjoyed probably even more than that actually is that you get, like, every book practically that's available for CompTIA Security Plus is in the library, and you can, so if you read one book and you think, do you know what, I don't quite understand that, how they put it, you just go and get another book and read that same little bit about, oh right, okay, yeah, that's explained better, and therefore you've got this option without having to pay. You've already paid it up front, yes, but you don't have to think, oh, I've got to go onto Amazon now and order another book for this. So but those two things really.
I think with our mentors, they're actually available to 10 o'clock at night, and that's something that we've worked quite hard on, because we know that a lot of our students are working. So it's important, if you're going to be studying in the evenings, you are going to need that support there. So it's making sure that that's going to be available for you when you are going to be studying. So that's definitely something that's really important. And so many different forms of content as well. People study in different ways. Some people like to do stuff practically, some people like to read things in more depth. So you have got all of those available for you, which is great as well. And what about you, Karine? Was there anything that stood out for you when you were looking into who to study with?
Would you study with? Oh, well, like I said, I didn't have many options. It was kind of, I think it was just it came up on this page, same as you, Katya. It just came up like this, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put my details, and I got this call, and same thing. It was I explained exactly, like, it took a while because I explained exactly how I felt, and I felt a bit stuck. Same thing, a bit of a roadblock, and yeah, definitely open opportunities. Like I said, yeah, like she said, the things you don't think about, and also you think, oh my God, it must be really hard. I was looking at all this show. I always love all these hackers in this show, people that can get access to all this information, without being, actually authorized. And I thought, that's so trippy. I would love to be able to do that. And yeah, so when we talk about cybersecurity, that was kind of the feeling that I had. I felt really excited because I thought, oh my God, so it is actually just a skill to learn, after all, it's just that, if you put the energy and the persistence and you just go follow through the courses, it's something, I guess, anyone can learn really, as long as you focus and persistent. So yeah, nothing, I didn't really compare the market because I had such a good I guess such a good chat, and I felt really understood. And then he came up with the pricing and the offer and explaining how the course were. And there's a lot of course out there, and I know what are the prices and stuff. I thought it's fair, and I thought, yeah, why not? Let's do it. Let's just get on with it and start. I started pretty much 3 days after that. I was on the course online, and
Amazing.
I'm nearly finished now. Like, I've done the A+, the Security Plus, the Network Plus, sorry, the Security Plus, the Pentest Plus, and
Wow.
I'm on now. Yeah. So.
And what advice would you give to someone that was looking to move into cybersecurity?
Well, I'd say just if you feel like it's something you would, enjoy, just go for it. It's like I said, it's about why you want to do it. I think if you've got your why, that brings you everywhere, right? You just need to find the reason why you want to do it. I mean, I work like that. Maybe some people need more, but if I know why I'm doing it, then you can give me as much work as you want. I'll go through it, and
yeah, very motivated and hardworking by the sounds of it, which is good.
Yes, I am.
What about you, Caroline? What advice would you give someone kind of making a change and looking into IT?
I think, before I embarked on this particular course, I did do a couple of shorter sort of free courses on the internet. I did one about website design, and I did one more related to cyber and programming, because I thought, if I'm going to do this, and this is my nature, that I don't want to spend a chunk of money if I've not actually researched that I'm going to, this will suit me. So I did, like I said, a 6-week thing, nothing major. I'm just talking about 20 hours or something, but you can tell in 20 hours whether you like something or not. And cyber is very much for people who are very logical, I think, people who like problem solving, people who don't get frustrated when it doesn't work, because inevitably it doesn't. So I think it's worth doing a little bit of checking in on whether that is the subject that you think it is. So I suppose that would be my first bit of advice. And I think the second piece of advice that I would have is it's quite a big topic. And I don't mean this in a way to put people off, because it didn't put me off, but there is a lot to learn, and I suppose you could be not fooled exactly, but you could think, oh, this won't take the time that it does. But actually, there's a reason why the learning people say this is a 2-year course, for example. And that's because there's a lot of volume. I felt there was a high volume of learning, particularly in the Security Plus. It was just a heck of a lot of information that you have to retain in order to take that exam. And so yeah, I think probably those are the two sort of tips that I would have.
Yeah, that's great. And what about you, Katia? Is there any advice you'd give someone?
I'd probably say that, so like she was saying, it is a massive, like, it's not like, well, I guess it's just so broad because there's so much in it. You kind of think of it as a one-way path, like just one, but no one knows everything about it. It's just not possible. And the thing I like most about it is, once you've learned everything, you haven't, because the next day there's something new. It's the idea that if you go into this, you're going to keep learning, and you're never going to be like, oh, I know everything, because it's just not possible. And I think there are so many different ways you can go down it. So you can go down the forensics path, or like web design. There are so many different outlets in it. I would say if you want to do it, you should look into it, because at the very least, the basic understanding of like security online, it's not a bad thing to have at all.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting industry. Yeah, for sure. And there's so many different areas that you can be working in and specializing in. And that's a great thing about it, isn't it? You can always continue to kind of keep upskilling and learning new things, which is great. What kind of skills do you think that a female can bring to the industry?
I would say so. Firstly, it's probably, this is going to sound quite generic, but the idea of I can guarantee there are people out there like that just think, oh, I can't go into that because I've never seen, like, even if you phone up a support line and you're always picking up to a guy, you just assume, oh, that's not a job for me. I think it's like a first step. It's never a bad thing to have more of a mix of people,
Diverse.
and also it's just you do bring, I know this sounds really, really stereotypical, but you do bring a different outlook on it. So it also just kind of, it levels things out a bit more. Like it's the way you approach things is kind of a bit more cautious, almost a bit more, I don't mean to sound like kind and caring is what I want to say, but I'm not sure. I think there's no reason why it's not a good idea, because the very least is what you can think of is, oh, there might be a little girl out there that's always wanted to go into it, but they've never seen a woman in it before.
Yeah, I think it's about inspiring, isn't it, the younger generation as well. The more women they see in this industry, the more comfortable they are going to feel moving into it, which is always good to see as well. I mean, Corinne, do you have anything to add to that at all? Is there anything you feel that you've brought to the table that would be different?
I think that, well, I guess it's also being a mom. I think you can bring so much as a woman in the industry, and a lot of people I talk to actually on LinkedIn, whether they're already in the industry or they're like recruiters or people I was just, asking about, what it's like to work in cybersecurity in their company. You always have, I don't know, some of them say, you know what, it's kind of an autistic thing to do pen testing, they're just like this. And you've got, so much more, relation, like interpersonal skills and like social skills. And I'm like, yeah, but that's why it's good, because the fact is that you can do your job even better because you can communicate better and you can, maybe empathize better with your customer or the other people in the company. And in general, I don't want to see, that's why I don't really like the gender thing, because I feel like it goes both ways, right? You say, oh, we need more women in cybersecurity and we've got skills that don't. But I think it's more subtle than that. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of men that also have creative skills, communication skills, multitasking skills, or,
Definitely
organization skills. But I feel like maybe women have bit, it's just shows more strongly rather than men. And that's probably why they feel like maybe women in a technical job is not that good, because it's too creative and, but I think we both have these skills. It's just that they are in different people. They show maybe a bit more. And I think that's what we can bring. And the thing is, I went through all my courses online and with the 2 young kids, even during the lockdown. And we're still in lockdown in Sydney, so homeschooling. Wow. And I feel like, I don't know if many men could do it.
The multitasking, maybe.
And everything. So I feel like that's also a skill that we can definitely bring to the table. Is that, we are like next level organized. Yes. Like it's and that's very important, especially in cybersecurity. you need to, usually in your job, you need to document everything, right? So, and you need to go, there's different tasks, you kind of need that as well, to have this logic kind of brain and problem solving. So you need to love problem solving and like being, being organized and logic. And I think that's, there are skills we can bring up to the table, but I'm not saying that the men don't have it.
No, I completely agree with you. I think it's just that balance is what we ask for, isn't it? And it's something that we shouldn't be scared to get into, because it can benefit us in so many ways, well, especially if you've got young children, families. There's so much flexibility. You've got the opportunity to work from home. So it really can benefit us, especially when you've got families and young children. But yeah, I mean, thank you for answering all those questions. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I am a little bit dubious of time. I know we did have a few questions sent in. Did you want to answer a few questions as well, Marisha? Yeah, I know we did have one that was sent in for you. So we had, what are the employment opportunities after COVID? And is there the opportunity to work remotely or at home in cybersecurity and IT?
Absolutely. I'd say that working in tech, you're actually in a much stronger position than most industries. And one is because of the ease of remote working. It was flexible and common in the industry pre-pandemic and appears to be more of the norm for the foreseeable future. So this allows you as the job seeker to cast your net wider and discard that location as a barrier. And the other is the increased demand for software support on both the existing services and new services required as a response to the pandemic.
Fantastic. And there's one for me as well. I'll answer this one. So, do you need any previous experience? I have a customer service background. I would like a career change. Would this be a good option? I mean, 100%. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about soft skills. They are so important within IT. I mean, hiring managers really are looking for you to have the soft skills as well as the IT hard skills as well. So having a customer service background, it's only going to benefit you, and employers will definitely like that for sure. I think there's one more for you as well, Marisha. So what are the entry-level jobs within cybersecurity, cloud, and networking?
Oh, well, as Katia was saying, there's so many avenues to enter into IT, and for her, it was joining a small business, but actually, you got exposed to all things cybersecurity. So sometimes you might be entering into something, you might not actually see the bigger picture to start with, but there are so many opportunities, so many companies that will, if you sort of show your value and you're doing the certifications, that you could end up moving quite quickly into other areas of IT. But yeah, there's for cloud, it's the cloud administrator roles, network administrator positions. There's entry level into cyber, could be you could be a SOC analyst or a cybersecurity analyst, junior pen tester as well. That's another area. It depends on what team you join.
There are lots of entry level positions throughout the industry. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of everything for today. Thank you everyone for joining, especially our students as well. And just to kind of echo what all the girls have said today is that, don't be afraid. If IT is something that even slightly interests you, don't hold back, take on the challenge. It's always worth looking into it and seeing if it's going to be an option for you. And if you do want to get in touch, we are going to leave an email. We'll leave my email on the screen as well. Yep. So it's on here. So jot that down, pop me an email. And if you do want to kind of book in a call or you have any questions, we can go through all of that for you. So yeah, thanks. Thanks, guys.